Hello, we're back in Bowdleflodeland. Look at this amazing collection of the most wonderful creatures. Professor Gett makes his second visit, and there's just one thing on his mind. Make my dreams come true. So Neil Lawson-Baker and Lauren Alderslade take you back to Bowdleflodeland, where Professor Gett on his second visit hopes to make his dream come true and become the head vet in the Bowdleflode Zoo. In Professor Gett's surgery on Earth, he's scheduling his next flight to Bowdleflodeland, and he's here to tell you what he's planned. I'm Professor Gett. My dream is to be the head vet in the Bowdleflode Zoo. That's what I'm absolutely determined to do. I need to persuade Her Majesty, Charlotte, the Bowdleflode Queen, and if she agrees, I'll breed her the most amazing animals that she's ever seen. At the moment, I'm back on Earth. I've just been attending to some sheep giving birth. And it's late in the evening and the sun's gone down and I'm sitting in my surgery in my dressing gown, planning in detail our next flight to space, back to Bowdleflodeland, the most amazing place. Many hours of research have gone into making this plan. My young vets, Jake, Kate and Alice, are bringing a friend called Sam, plus 2 other zoologists, Peter and Pam. And in my brand new jet kite, it could be a bit of a jam. But I'm excited because they'll make up my first full team. But first, of course, I need a proper discussion with Her Majesty the Queen. So leaving the launch pad with my young vets and 3 friends, we hope that the speed of this jet kite doesn't give us the bends. We need to keep warm, so we huddle together with bright yellow waterproofs to protect from the weather. And travelling by night with our sat-nav set right, we'll experience the most fantastic flight, climbing steeply for thousands of miles, lying back with slightly anxious smiles. After a long flight, we safely land on runway 7, descending from the stars and the high above heaven. We're all very tired, need a good hotel to get rested and showered. And then my team and their friends whiz off by car to the very best local shopping bazaar. It's their passion to wear Bowdleflode fashion, while I go to make an appointment. I'll knock on the Queen's secretary's door. There's a huge job opportunity for me to explore. So I book to see Her Majesty, a time and a date. And then I take back the borrowed flybikes before it's too late. The next day is Ace. Our friends can't believe this wonderful place. It's beyond their dreams. A Bowdleflode theme park with wacky scenes, castles made of candy with chocolate towers, and can you believe it? Champagne comes out of the hotel's showers. Time for a picnic. We chill, eat salmon and dill, and for our friends on their holidays, this is really quite brill. And I'm happy too. It's not very often a vet gets days off, and very soon I need to be back at that zoo, where I hope to be prof. Last night, the sky filled with aurora lights, and today we're taking a trip to see more sights, and we're told that we'll find pink elliplodes with enormous tusks, all wearing t-shirts and tights. We travel by boat, powered by a bright red remote to the Isle of I Am All Alone, and there we find pink elliplodes in this most extraordinary zone. We feed them all special cinnamon buns, and they try out our Bowdley's tea. They've all got 3 eyes, which is a bit of a surprise, and a baby one sits down next to me. Henry is the daddy elephant, and Ellie is his wife, and they've got two beautiful, identical twins. Now comes the most important day of my life, and I really want to please my wife. As Professor Gett, the Earthling vet, I'm meeting Queen Charlotte to become her head vet. I thank her for seeing me, and then out of a case I present two tiny hedgehogs to breed here in space. Her Majesty asks me their names. They're Neil and Grace, and soon they'll be roaming all over the place. And then we talked. We discussed breeding new species and DNA. I explained that I developed a brand new way to produce instant fusion using a revolutionary ray. Your Majesty, I will introduce this technique at the Bowdleflode Zoo, if you'll let me stay. Well, we need new research for the breeding program in our zoo. Yes, please explain in detail all that you can do. Well, said Gett, in reality, it's my speciality. I recently designed a blue-willed ewe, and I can certainly design new species here for you. Then welcome, Professor. Please come and join our team. And first I'd like you to design a beautiful new cow that milks cream. And then together with you we'll develop the most famous interplanetary special breed Bowdleflode Zoo. Then in walked the king to hear the good news, and soon made it clear he had his own views. If your Majesty wants a cow making cream, then I'd like one to replace my old coffee machine. So, Professor, come and start soon, ideally before the next new moon. And we understand you'll bring your wife Viv, so we need to find you a nice place to live. But, said the king, before you return back to Earth to collect all your things, my men will introduce you to all our animals, including those with wings. So tomorrow be here sharp at 10. Joe, who's one of my men, will be your guide, show you the zoo and the countryside too. How long will it take to create a new breed? An interesting process. Yes, indeed. So next day, sharp at 10, we arrived at the zoo and met the king's men. Joe introduced me as the new head vet. So let me tell you about the animals we met. Here's Lolly. She's as tall as a tree and has to bend double to talk to me. And later, after a very long ride, we saw loads of other animals in the countryside. Bowdleflodeland is filled with lakes and snakes, rivers, mountains, sea and sand, and we met amazing flodes right across the land. We soon discovered what they eat and drink, and strangely, a lot of their water is pink. We found mooch in the mountains, grazing on couch. A large herd was wending its way. It was such a beautiful day. There was one pretty fawn that we all called Dawn, a little bit lame, but oh so tame, and I managed to heal her to prove my fame. We found a large lake which led down to the sea, and there we stopped to eat by a tree. Boisterous Boise had swum up to see if he could find any luscious fish for his tea, and sure enough there was a huge variety. But he politely waited with propriety. We ate first, and soon we were ready to burst. Later that evening, and back at the zoo, we found Bozo the bear, asleep in his lair. Wake up, you silly old bean, you're meant to be guarding Her Majesty the Queen. He stretched his legs and opened his eyes, and then he was in for a big surprise. He yawned a deep sigh. He'd been dreaming meat pie, but his supper had just passed him by. My mission now clear. There's nothing to fear. I've met so many animals and made a huge list. Here in space, every animal must have its place. A database, Your Majesty, I insist. Well, Professor, about our zoo, an idea which might appeal to you. Let's encourage Earthling children to design animals for our zoo, and we'll twin each one with an endangered species too. And so ends story 2. But of course there'll be much, much more. In story 3, Professor Gett treats Rory, whose wings are very sore. You have just listened to the second of the Bowdleflode stories that I've written, and Lauren has beautifully illustrated. Now it's the opportunity for you to create your very own fantasy animal, made up from parts of endangered species. So go and get your pencils and your paints, and on A3 white paper, go and design and create your very own new, amazing animal for the online Bowdleflode Wildlife Park. You'll have your very own page on our website. Give your animal a name and describe it in full. You can download the address and all the forms from the website www.bowdleflodes.com and click on the Get Involved Sign Up Now button. And then post your work, not folded, with the forms to the Bowdleflode office. We'll upload your animal to the website, and he or she will become a resident in the Bowdleflode online wildlife park. And we very much look forward to letting us see all your creativity. And please think about endangered species and visit wildlife parks and perhaps even adopt an animal. Lauren and I are really enjoying creating these Bowdleflode stories, and she's working away in her Brighton studio, developing new characters all the time. We really want you to be involved in this process in the Bowdleflode project. Produce your own fantasy animals on A3 paper, send them to our office, we'll scan them and put them onto the website, and you'll have your own page with your animal in the Bowdleflode Zoo. If there's any questions you'd like to ask, we'll answer them, so please email me at the following address, and here it is.